got a photo, part 2 of Carbohydrate series. We're going to be able to cover this in a few parts because there is a lot of stuff, and this is probably a very important aspect of food for us to start understanding. But we're going to cover the dangers of a high sugar, low quality sugar diet. So high in sugar and the quality sources are not great. And then we're going to continue that on with slow carb diet or options. We want to try refrain from using that word as well. Well, we shouldn't refrain from using it, but refrain from turning everything into a diet. More let's understand our food. That's much more important. Understanding what we're putting in and why we're putting it in, what it's doing. So we'll move on to the dangers of a high sugar, low quality diet. We know that we are facing great rates, very high rates of diabetes, diabetes-related illness, and we know that those are increasing. And we could probably say that the number one reason to do with those aspects are probably how much we're eating, and how much we're eating that is predominantly coming from a sugar or carbohydrate source, versus, I'll also add in there, versus our activity. So that's really important to note as well.
Yeah.
How much energy low quality energy we're putting in versus how much energy we're putting out.
Yeah.
So the greater that gap,
Yeah.
the more issues we are facing.
Yeah. So say quantity, quality, and lack of exercise.
Yeah.
It will come together to help reduce that issue.
So moving into the dangers of a high sugar diet. The challenge as humans is when we are fueling ourselves with a poor food source, it's a slow health degeneration, just slowly eating unhealthy. Weight just starts creeping on. Right? So the first sign of weight creeping on is we're eating too much and we're becoming more insulin resistant. Those two things tend to start building or growing together. And then we just slowly start decreasing our exercise levels. So, these are very real factors. So the dangers of our high sugar and low quality sources. It's just how it's kind of like a slow sickness. It just creeps in there. But I know that Jay's quite interested in expanding on some of those aspects surrounding the risks of a high sugar diet.
Yeah.
But
we touched on it before, but what we think of is obesity. Obesity to us is bad now because we can see the detrimental health effects it has in the long term. But in the past, it was a survival mechanism. To be putting on fat is a good thing to survive, but now that we no longer need it, we only see the bad effects. Because an old problem used to be that we needed enough calories to survive. That was the number one crucial thing that we had to accomplish. Just eat so we can survive. But now that we've got plenty of calories, we have new problems. We have the problems like obesity, we have diabetes, we have Alzheimer's, we have a whole lot of other inflammatory diseases. So they're the new things to tackle, which means that we need to refine and become more optimal rather than just try and get the calories.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also have a worrying incidence of even our lower socioeconomic people, of which Māori and Pacific Island people tend to make up or overrepresent in this country. We are even seeing a strange dilemma where we have low socioeconomic people having a higher incidence of obesity and overweight as well. The big argument there is that it's because poor quality food is cheaper, and to much of an extent there's a lot of truth there. Our cheap white bread, cheap pasta,
Dollar loaves of bread.
Dollar loaves of bread, dollar pack of pasta, or 80 cents a pack of pasta, noodles,
Super cheap.
zero nutrients, You know, you're better off buying a sack of potatoes and a big old bag of rice. You know, but nevertheless, these are real challenges we're facing.
It's always easier said than done.
Yeah.
Once you do start moving away from that sort of source of fuel into, say, more vegetables, your food bill actually starts to decrease because you're getting more out of less. But you don't see that in the first shot. The first shot always hits the hardest.
Yeah. So our for our like general population, Māori Pacific people out there, we've got to be mindful of the dangers of that stuff. We have to stop putting unnecessary purchases, which we don't even need to purchase, primarily in the form of drinks. So drinking our calories it's throwing money away when the tap water in this country is perfectly fine. Number two, we need to be mindful of those how we're using staple carbohydrates to feed our whānau in the form of replacing the things like those. I'm inclined to suggest people go to the sacks of potatoes and the sacks of rice before they get the noodles, the pasta and the white bread. We also want to discuss the slow carb options. Again, there are challenges on the budget and the food knowledge, but primarily we have been eating seasonal food since the dawn of time. And the cheapest thing at the bloody supermarket is seasonal vegetables. What's in season? Because that's what's being produced most of. It's going to be the most nutritious for you, and it's going to be the cheapest. So eyes on for that, guys. Eyes on the whatever is cheapest at the supermarket is in abundance and probably the most nutrient rich. You need to get that in your you need to get that in that trolley as well. So
doesn't hurt if you've got a garden as well, or chuck a few seeds down. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. Yeah, it's going to be the most nutritious for you using your own vegetables.
Absolutely. And let's let's be mindful of those other silly things that people are chucking in there. The packets of chips, the crackers and the biscuits. Again, just even I would be mindful, Jay, of muesli bars.
Yeah.
I think muesli bars are a great deception. They're selling you energy and health. They're really full of. There's a lot of dried fruit. There are a lot of added syrups. And there are a lot of things in there which are not necessarily as great as initially thought. So we need, let's navigate away from those things as well, guys.
Because they're convenience foods.
Yeah. A lot of the foods that are targeted and marketed as healthy snack options for our kids, they just really aren't. Nothing is going to beat you preparing real food, for your children. Notice how all these foods tend to be often grain-based or origin of some sort of that. Very high in carbohydrates, they're highly processed. They don't resemble the original food at all. And they tend to be, in my opinion, pretty low in proteins and fats. And that's really where we want to start navigating whānau. If possible, replace that carb with the protein and fat. We need to drop those bad sugars, breads, fizzy drinks, crackers, bickies, chips, pastas. We need to up the good carbs. Potatoes, vegetables, a small amount of fruit is fine.
Some grains.
Yeah.
You can get away with some grains. Yeah, like the rice.
Rice, yeah. It's just as a perfect note, is it easier to digest, carry a bit more of a nutrient trace, and then things like white bread, sugar, absolutely. Yeah, get rid of the fizzy drinks. And then if possible, guys, we need to up those proteins and fats. We really do. We need to eliminate any stigma attached to fats. Go to town on those. Definitely jump those protein levels up significantly. Okay. So slow carb options as well. We'll touch on this. There's a lot of there is a very popular mechanism for getting our carbs, the slow carb option. So carb option are effectively low glycemic index, low GI, and generally higher in fibre.
What people used to call the complex carbohydrates.
Yes.
Simple.
Yeah, that's right. Good. What's a great example of that? Kumara and taro. Great. Many vegetables. Never our high fibre vegetables. And then you've also got things that we call like your peas and legumes. Those are not bad as well. We're talking about like kidney beans, red beans, chickpeas, things of that nature, lentils. Those tend to be of reasonable nature as well.
When they're cooked well, they can be an incredible source of nutrients.
That's right.
But yeah, that's
They have to be cooked correctly.
Got to cook it properly. You can't just get it straight from the can.
Is it optimal? Maybe no, not necessarily. We could go into a whole basket of reasons why. Is it a better alternative than the sugar in the bread? Yes.
Much better. Yeah.
And the biggest one as well, guys, is we're existing in a time where we have to manage abundance. We are an animal. We are pretty simple. We need to make decisions to eat less, but when we put sources in that are of higher quality, it is easier to actually consume less total energy. It really is. And be patient. God damn it, these fat. You stop worrying about losing this weight aggressively and quickly. Diets are not good. Understanding your food is good. Never mind this and that diet. Educate yourself. Understand your food better. Exercise some self-control. Permeate that into the farm. I think that'll do for that, eh, Brad? Jay, anything else?
It's just a lifestyle journey.
Yeah.
This is for your entire life. You need to learn how to operate this, and then you can operate your body.
Yeah.
Once you've got that under control, then you don't need to worry about any of these diets or
That's right.
yeah.
We need to take the simple bits out. Yeah. Make small adjustments to our food. Learn how to cook, prepare and exist with that food. Keep it simple, and then make those small changes.
Baby steps.
That's it. Sure.